Jason,
Yes, sir.
what caliber is .68?
Point
You ever heard of that?
6.8.
Yeah,
that's a big
I've
one.
never heard of that. Yeah, no, I know it is big, but I don't know how to. I mean, what would you say? It's .68?
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess.
Yeah, right. I'd
Big
never
sucker.
heard of it. Yeah. Anyway, so how are you?
Good. Thank you.
Good. Yeah. Thanks for coming in. I think what happened in Ukraine this weekend is kind of significant on the war front.
A little bit.
And signals to, I think, basically what I've been saying for the last couple of years, I think, that the next war, everything that we're building, stop building them because AI is going to change everything. Drones are going to change everything. Our aircraft carriers are just sitting ducks now. What we saw happen from Ukraine thousands of miles into the interior of Russia is striking. Do you want to explain?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, you have been talking about what's coming for a very long time. If you think about it, wars have always pushed technology, things that were coming, but just push them out there faster than they probably would have before. You think about
war and pornography. Those are the drivers. They're the drivers of tech. War and pornography.
Yeah, I mean, we have satellite technology because of, the invention of ICBMs and, the need to dominate space. I mean, all of these things were pushed. I mean, you look at economic wars. You look at, the oil wars when oil prices were collapsing. There were a few enterprising people in Texas that could not pay their workers anymore. So they were like, well, let's come up with these gigantic automated platforms so that we can frack and not have to pay tons and tons of money, and start, in operating costs. That came way before. I mean, people get ingenuitive. They think of these things and they push it beyond. You look at this attack. You talk about aircraft carriers. Ukraine effectively turned a semi-truck into a tens of, how much does it cost to build an aircraft carrier? I don't know.
Billions of dollars.
Tons of money. They turned in a $20,000 semi-truck into an aircraft carrier. That's what we're looking at right now. Have you seen these videos of this attack?
Yeah, let's play them. Let's do drone exits container first. Can we do that one, please? What you're seeing is, oh my gosh, look at the sky. Coming out of these containers is just full of drones. It's like it's like a swarm of these. Okay. Drone flies over Russian bombers as they explode. Next one, please. This is showing that these are their strategic bombers. This is, like our strategic air command. We have to load with nuclear missiles if there's a war. They took out 30% of them. 30% of the strategic. We've never been able to do anything like that.
Do you see the tires on those wings, Glenn? That's how
big they are.
So they have these tires right there. In that video right there, you see as it's flying over, there's all these tires lined up on the wings. The reason why they did that is because they're trying to stop the targeting systems of these first-person drones the Ukraine is employing in mass. So they put the tires on the wings so that it attempts to mask or confuse the AI in these in the targeting of these drones. They're trying everything they can think of to slow down this drone warfare.
Is it true though?
My gosh! Wait! So those little spots on the wing. That's how big that plane is. I know that's a big plane. But as you say that, and I'm looking, I see the spots on top of the wings, and I'm like, those are tires?
Those are tires.
Yeah, wow. Is it true that they had to control these from inside Russia, like nearby the sites, though? That's what the reporting I heard was, which is that they've had all these pilots, apparently, or drone pilots inside the country. Is that accurate?
I guess that's possible. They haven't, and that's an interesting point because Ukraine immediately, I'm going to stay away from, I'll start with this. I'm going to stay away from any of the BDA, the battle damage assessment on this, because I know the propaganda machines are going to be going insane on both sides. I don't want to get into another Ghost of Kyiv situation here. So it could be as high as 40, bombers. It could be as low as I don't know, 10. Who knows? The point is that the name of the game changed this weekend. Completely changed. And the reason I think Zelensky is pushing this out and saying, yeah, we did it. I mean, Israel didn't even do that with the Hezbollah beeper thing. They kept it close to the chest for a while, even though we all knew it was them. But they didn't give away everything right at the beginning. Ukraine's just saying, this is how we did it. You know, we loaded up these drones. You saw those tractor trailers in the back of the semi-trucks. It was remotely opened. And then if they were in Russia or back in Ukraine, who knows where. And then they remotely took the drones up and sent them out in swarms like an aircraft carrier. This happened. Everything changed. But the reason they put that out there is because this is also now a big psychological thing with Russia. Now they don't even know if they can trust any cargo coming into
any container. I mean,
anything.
They're everywhere, those things.
Right. This goes way beyond.
Gang, can we let me just reset this. Stu, what came to mind when you said, were they controlling them from inside? We don't know what's in our country. We don't know who came across our border. These things could be in our country today. I mean, this is something that, I mean, the whole world is about to change. And it just did this weekend. Let me play one more here. Drone truck detonates as man enters. Let's see this one.
Yeah.
So what was that?
Self-destruct.
Was that self-destruct?
That was self-destruct so they don't capture the vehicle or examine anything inside. So you had someone remotely opening it. You had remotely piloting the swarms out. Then after the job was done, they remotely did a self-destruct and detonated the delivery vehicle. It's amazing. Really is.
This is Ukraine.
Right. I mean, Ukraine in the middle of a war for a long time.
This is Ukraine.
This is not even like the high. Like, what do we have? What does China have? I would assume it's even more advanced, right? They're not saying this is us that helped them with this either, right?
Okay, so yes, we have the capability. I don't know if we've been thinking along these lines. Now, which is very dangerous.
Of course not.
No, I mean, if you go to, and the word is out there, you can look all, interestingly enough, we've been planning a show on this on TV to show how things are progressing in Ukraine.
It's going to be last week.
It was
supposed to be last week.
Pretty insane.
I know.
But I had these videos, like random bloggers and stuff are like, so we're on the front lines of the new drone warfare program, and there are multiple like secret locations in Ukraine where they have full-on remotely powered vehicles that are leading the charge. Not, armored mechanized units. That's not happening. They're sending in these drones on the ground. Then they send in another wave of drones through the air. I mean, you're not seeing... You remember when this war started out, everyone was criticizing the Russians. They were like, how'd this happen? Well, because the Russians were going in like World War II. They were going in like mechanized units.
Yep.
These big bulky tanks. They were getting knocked out. That is not how warfare is going to happen going forward. It's just not. Everything is changing right now, and it's being a test drive right now in Eastern Europe. It's scary.
Is that good or bad? That is the. I honestly am asking that question because I don't know. Like, part of me thinks that this type of thing might end up really lowering body counts, right? If everyone's fight, I mean, it's the Star Wars. I know this argument was made in Star Wars. I'm aware of it, but there's an argument that if drones are killing drones, like that's maybe a better place than where we've been over the past century, where it's people that are doing all the dying.
I want a T-shirt because with what you just asked, because that is the question of our times. Is that good or is that bad?
We can insert the question into every AI discussion that we have.
Everything. The trade, is that good or is that bad?
I think when you look at modern warfare, it always ends in my mind, it goes to the same conclusion that the war planners of World War II had when they created the nuclear bomb. It's, before you look at World War One, it was, massive body counts on both sides, just take out troops. Then in World War II, they were like, well, let's take out industrial centers. So then let's deplete the enemy's ability to wage war by hitting it where it starts. Now the problem is, or where it's manufactured. The problem is that's where the city centers are. So that's where the civilians are. So eventually, after you've gotten through all this drone warfare, militaries are decimated on the battlefield. Eventually, you have to go to where they produce the drones, where they, command and control. That is what Vladimir Putin and his Security Council are sitting around the table right now. They're thinking, okay, where are these things being produced? Where are they being trained? Where are they learning to do these things? Where are they pushing the button to do these things? Usually those are in cities, which is a very bad thing. And Russia does have the ability to counter that if he wants to go that far. And that's where we're inching closer towards.
Well, they're saying this was a $7 billion loss. I know this is, could be propaganda, but they're saying this is a $7 billion loss. You don't lose $7 billion of strategic air command and not respond.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is not going to drive them to the peace table.
And that's the interesting question.
Coincidentally, they're meeting today.
They're meeting today, and so what I have heard in some of the coverage is that this was intentionally done before this, right? Like to basically say, I mean, in a way, to say that we do have cards, right? The old you guys don't have any cards to play. Well, we do have cards. That's what they're trying to bring up into this negotiation point. Essentially, we're not coming from a place of weakness.
Yeah, but how do you? That's a really good point. But how do you, as Vladimir Putin, address your people and say, "Hey, we just made peace after they just took down 30% of our strategic bombers"?
I don't see how you can.
Yeah.
I don't either.
And that narrative is kind of crap to me because Russia, I think on the same day or the day before, sent its largest drone arsenal themselves, I think to date, inside Ukraine.
Right. I mean,
it's 500 drones.
It's not like they're doing
like
it. My assumption with Russia, though, is that they don't actually want this, right? Like they're walking down this road of peace talks, but in reality, they have not shown a lot of interest in actually solving this. I don't think Ukraine, I think, is in another position where I think they'd like it to be over, but the terms that are there, they don't like. So I don't know that either side really wants this to end at this moment.
Jason, you were going to respond on what else is coming and what's happening.
Yeah, in my mind, I think that this is kind of piggybacking off what Stu was saying, is I think both countries wanted to show a very big or make a very big statement and, going into these peace talks. And I think that one of them wanted to sit at the table and say, this is what you're looking at, bend to our version of what's written down here, in these list of demands. Well, Russia didn't expect Ukraine to respond the way they did. So now they both have a pretty, strong packet of, demands. And I think right now they're hovering around. Both of them want to end this war. Both sides do. It's not good for either side. And now they're looking at how do we come out of this and make it look like that we won so we can tell our people, hey, this was all, this all tilted in our favor. And they don't want to be embarrassed, specifically on Putin's side. So right now, they're going to go through that multiple different times. This is gonna be a long process. At times, some of them are going to stand up and say, I'm done with this. They walk away. They're probably going to come back to the table a week later. But the cool thing is, this is actually happening. They're actually sitting down and talking to each other. Even after this weekend, they're still going to talk to each other. That was not happening a couple years ago.
That's a big improvement.
Big improvement.
So tell me about the troops on the border of Finland that have just been moved in. They're mobilizing troops there. Do you know anything about that, Jason?
Some interesting movements in Europe in general. Germany actually deployed, I think, a 5,000 troop deployment, I believe, to Lithuania. Not because the EU told them to do that. Not because NATO told them to do that. Germany, who does not like to move troops because the history is not so great for them when they deploy in Europe. They moved.
I didn't think they could have troops.
It's actually something huge that the media hasn't been talking about, but they did that which I think is part of the Donald Trump leadership in saying, look, you need to be able to police your own neighborhood. But there are a lot of troop movements going around Europe right now. And I actually think that that's a good thing. I think that them taking more of an active role in showing deterrence and not just relying on us is a positive.
Well, it's a good thing for us, perhaps. I don't like it when Europe mobilizes and Russia is mobilizing,
Right.
and Germany is sending troops across borders.
Yeah.
I've seen this movie. It didn't work out well the first or second time, but maybe that's just me.